Hello and welcome to the Vaxxed Downunder tour of Australia. Today we're in southeast Queensland in Redcliffe. Would you like to introduce yourselves, please?
So I'm Anna Stancombe, and this is my son. He is 7. Would you like to say who you are? He's a little bit shy, but yeah, his name is Akira, and I also have a daughter, Ava, who's 11.
Thank you for coming today, Akira.
Yeah.
So Anna, take us back to your childhood. Were you vaccinated?
Yes, I was. Yeah. So, my mum, just like most people, the doctors said, you get vaccinated, so she didn't really question it. So I was the whole schedule back then, but obviously, which is not as much as it is today. But that's what kind of led me to the journey that I'm on, if you like, because I was very sick as a child, so I was vaccinated and I had asthma, really bad ear infections all the time, I can remember. But as a baby, because of the asthma, I used to get pneumonia, and I actually there was very touch and go for like a while there. This is from my mum's recounts, I guess. But yeah, growing up, I just remember I was always, the asthma was a big deal and was always kind of sick. But my mum, followed the schedule, did what the doctors said, didn't really question. And then I can remember the last vaccine I've ever had, I was around, I think it's around year 13 or so. I had the rubella, it was a rubella one, because I actually remember everyone was lining up at school to get it, but I went to the doctor and got it. And I haven't had one since, and that's, the reason why. So after I had that vaccine, I can't remember like exactly how long afterwards, but I actually got measles. And I got measles really bad, to the point I was in hospital, and I had, was isolated, and I was really unwell. I can remember it clearly. And I also missed my exams at school, which was a big deal. So that's why I kind of remember it all. But it actually made me question, even though I was, quite young still, but I thought to myself, hold on, if I was vaccinated, like, why am I getting measles? And it sort of impacted on me. And I was like, measles is a childhood disease, so would I have been better off getting it like as a child and not be kind of deathly ill now as a teenager? And I just sort of questioned that, and I thought, this doesn't make sense, whether it wears off or not, or whatever happened. But I just wish I didn't get measles when I was a teenager. Would have preferred to just have it as a kid. Yeah, and I've never had a vaccine since then. And it also, so that I questioned that, and I think I actually did a science degree, which I think I started to question, I was interested in that. And another big thing, my mum's sister, I don't actually know how she started to question things, but she gave me a book, and again she said, I'm not trying to pressure you or anything, but here's a book, have a read of it. And it was actually called The Poison Needle, and she was like, they ban certain information, so you just look and come to your own conclusions. And that book was amazing. Like, it kind of blew my mind, and that sort of cemented to me as well, hold on, why would they want to ban information or not give people information? Like, to me, science is, you look at both sides, you look at everything. So after school I actually went straight to university and I did a science degree. And I actually did one of my assignments, so now I was quite into, more for just my own benefit. I was like, oh look, I'm starting to ask questions and look at things, and so I really enjoyed doing the science. I actually did an assignment on it. Actually got a really good mark on vaccines. I know, but that's what's so funny now. I think back and I think, obviously this was 20 years ago, and I think I probably might not even be allowed to do that topic now. And I actually did, I got top mark, and he said it was very well written, it was very good. And the argument, I read it now and then, and it has not changed from then until now. My whole argument was, people should be informed, people should be given a choice, you should be given the information, you should be allowed to research for yourself and make your own decisions. And that, that is what I still believe. And I don't know if maybe universities have changed today, but my science degree actually made me question. Like, I had lecturers actually saying, you know, don't take our word for it. You are meant to research. Don't just believe what people tell you. You go and look at it. And that's what's made me, I still question, you know, today. I go and do my own research. I go and look at things. I look at both sides of everything, not just with vaccines, but anything to do with your children or their health. And we even had a subject, you know, statistics, but how you can lie with statistics. So I'm really grateful that I had that experience and that education, because that is what makes me question now. Like, the science degree has taught me that you question everything, you look into everything. And then, so yeah, as I said, I've never had a vaccine since then, and I feel that I'm healthier. Like, I don't have asthma, I don't get the ear infections and things like that. And I have also, like, I've travelled, so people say, oh, what about if you go overseas? I have never had a travel vaccine. I have been to more than 60 countries, probably, and so, you know, technically I should be, you know, I should have got something maybe. I've been to, they're all developing countries, so literally like Pakistan, India, Afghanistan, and never a travel vaccine. And I just won't. Like, I will just never, like, after the research that I have done, me personally, I would not inject something into my body that is questionable. And I also don't vaccinate my pets. And both my children are very healthy compared to me. They've, like, thank goodness, have never had asthma. I don't even remember them having an ear ache. And I think, you know, if we have a family history, shouldn't they have had those things? And also no antibiotics as well. So not only vaccine, just questioning everything with that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So what's been the reaction from your friends and family to your decision not to vaccinate?
Yeah, thankfully my family is quite supportive. So they, as I said, I had one aunt, and then, yeah, people start to talk. So my grandmother, she said that, yeah, she obviously vaccinated her children. They came from England to Australia, so they all had to be inoculated, what they called it. But yeah, her youngest child had actually a bad reaction. And even then she just thought, oh, you know, it's not good, but didn't really think too much of it. But that is the child that, yeah, she didn't vaccinate her own children. So she's obviously susceptible because she's had, you know, a reaction, and she had a lot of allergies and, you know, health issues as well. And her own children, two boys, are both fully not vaccinated, but they still had some allergies and everything. So she truly believes that she saved their life by not vaccinating them, because, you know, they still had some health issues even without the vaccines. Yeah, so it's sort of like everybody wakes up. So yeah, they're quite supportive. Again, like, it's like your decision, you know. But they themselves, even with me, you know, saying what I believe, but they have had to discover it for themselves as well. So my grandparents, they're in their 80s. They initially got a flu shot because their doctor told them to get a flu shot. So they both got one. They both got very ill. So then the next year, my grandmother said she wasn't getting a flu shot. My grandfather still got it. He got very ill again. So then she said, not doing it. You know, why would we keep getting a flu shot if every time we get the flu shot, we get the flu when we get very sick, even though they tell you that's not possible, but that was what was happening to them. So logically, they've stopped having the flu shot. And actually, even I have her permission, even saying that, they go to the same doctor and have done for, you know, 20 years. He actually gave her the flu shot without her consent. They were talking, and she said, we're not getting the flu shot this year. And he actually got up and was preparing something at the back, and he actually put it into her arm because she had a singlet on, and she went, oh, I told you I wasn't getting it. And he went, oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
So take action.
I very strongly said, this is not right. You know, he has no right to do that. She told him. She told him personally, but she didn't pursue it. But so that is the length. Like, that is not right. Yeah, but saying that, so that's the last. They've both never had the flu shot again and have relatively healthy, like haven't got flu. And the same, they live in like a community, kind of a park community. So everyone talks, obviously. Every year their friends get the flu shot. They end up in hospital with pneumonia. They're the only ones that don't get it and don't get sick. And the same with shingles. So no one, I've hardly even heard of shingles. The shingles vax came out. They didn't get it. They said, oh, we're not getting it. All of their friends got the shingles vaccine and got shingles. They have never been so ill in their life. So even I think there's 30 houses in the complex. So she even sees it herself, amongst her friends. So as I said, you've got to come to your own realisation, but they have, and they're very supportive. And they even now think, like everything that's going on, it's a person's right to choose, and you should have a right. So my mum's other sister, like my aunt, they chose to vaccinate, which, that's their choice. But her other sister didn't, so, what's the harm in that? I think. So yeah, luckily they're quite supportive, my family. Friends, like with everything, I guess you more just grow apart. Like I've had friends that have vaccinated and it's not really an issue. They're just like, well, we don't really question it. Doctor said to do it, so we did it. And she said, but they even say to me, why would people have issues with you if your children aren't vaccinated? Because their children are, so there shouldn't really be an issue. So, yeah, my friend, we just leave it at that kind of thing. But now, you tend to, I guess, like I guess lost friends, but it's more you just drift apart, I guess, or they sort of don't choose. I had one loose friend, I will call it. She said she chose not to see us for a year because my children, weren't vaccinated, and I'm like, okay, that's, I guess, but that's your choice. So yeah, some things, but. Yeah.
So what are your thoughts about no jab, no pay and no jab, no play legislation?
Yeah, it's just horrendous. Like, how can we live in a supposedly democratic society, Australia, where you are coerced or forced to, vaccinate, or your children can't go to kindy? Like, I just, incredible that this is even allowed to happen. I think if they believe in their product so well, then why do they have to try and force you or coerce you to do it? That just does not make sense to me. And always, why is there a risk if a child is not vaccinated when the other children are vaccinated? I can't understand the logic. But it's against your human right. Every child is entitled to an education, and they should be given it, not on grounds of whether you do something. and the logic is most adults are not vaccinated. They don't have their boosters. They're walking around freely. So why are they targeting, just the children as well? None of it makes sense. It's not right what people have done. Like.
And are you worried about catching COVID-19?
That's funny you say that, because I had I wasn't allowed into the Department of Transport because I said I wasn't sure what COVID-19 was. And because it's actually like SARS, SARS-2 COVID. No, not at all. And then I actually said, they said, have you been around anyone? And I said, well, considering there was only one active case at that time in Queensland, it's nearly impossible to have been around someone. No, I find it also laughable. What, were we not washing our hands? Were we not, cleaning everything? Were we not doing general hygiene, basic hygiene, that you're taught? I think there's worse things that you could probably catch. And we haven't shut down the whole entire country over, something that people barely have at the moment. No, I'm not scared at all to, catch, SARS-2.
So what are your thoughts on a possible rushed COVID-19 vaccine and possible vaccine mandates?
it's terrifying, like personally terrifying for, you know, not only me, my children, my family, my friends, like the whole world. Rushed is something that should never be said in a sentence with a vaccine, I think. And I've, you know, even I don't watch TV, but there was something on like mainstream TV, and people were even saying, oh, you know, we want the safety studies done. We want the, you know, we don't want it rushed because, you know, yeah, if people are going to be harmed because they're trying to rush through this vaccine, that is not good in itself. But again, it's bottom line is everybody has a choice, and that choice should not be taken away from them. There should never be a mandated anything, not just vaccines, but you know, you should not be forced to do anything that you are not comfortable doing. And if you are injecting something into your body, then that is huge. Like, everyone should have a choice to say no, and not be penalised. So, you know, some people argue, oh, well, you don't have to do it. Like, yeah, you just can't send your kids to school. You just can't work. You just can't, you know, get any benefits or travel. That, you know, that is coercion. That is the definition of blackmail and coercion. So, no, I will never be getting a COVID vaccine or whatever vaccine they want to pull out of the hat. Won't be happening.
So what's your advice for young parents out there
with
their first child and are starting to research vaccines?
Like, it is scary, you know, especially I remember first time mum. It's very different being a first time mum to even having a second child. But I just, like, the mentality, you know, our children are the most precious things in the world. We're kind of neurotic. We research dummies. I remember looking, oh, you know, should we have a dummy? Should we not have a dummy? What's the best dummy? Or car seats, or, you know, everything, literally, bottles. Does it have chemicals in the bottle, in the plastic? So we do all this, you know, most people do research a car seat, for example, but then don't even question, oh, but the doctor just says, oh, just inject this healthy newborn baby, soon as it is born with chemicals that they don't even know. They couldn't even tell you what is in a vaccine. So I don't kind of understand that. It's like, research, just, you're researching everything else. So why would you not research, even if it is a doctor telling you, you know, you are their parent, that is your child, like you are responsible for that child, like the doctor isn't, you are. So, you know, you need to question, you need to at least research, be able to name what is in the vaccine, you know. Look, is there adverse reactions? Read the pamphlets. Like, ask the doctor these questions. That's what I would think. Don't just blindly follow because someone tells you to do something. I think that is trying to, like, take the responsibility away from you. But no, they're your children. You're researching everything else. So please, 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 just research, you know, what goes into a vaccine. But, yeah.
Is there any other thoughts you'd like to share with us this afternoon?
No, not really. It's just, yeah, how, you know, it can be scary, but I have no kind of issue now. If you are strong in your beliefs and what you believe to be the best for yourself, your children, your family, then no one can take that away from you. All you have to do is research, and there is a lot of information out there. People, you know, it is tried to be suppressed, but we have the internet today. You can ask the doctor questions. You can ask, you know, friends, family. There's lots of books. There is lots of information. So please just research. Please just question what you are putting into your children's bodies and your own bodies, or even your animals. Everything. Just question. Thank you.
Thank you so
That's
much
all right.
for being here this afternoon.
No problem.